the One E app. So first I'd like to say why we created it. Why we created it was simple. The alternatives out there was, one, taking the apps different ways, whether you were taking it out, filling it out physically, sending it to the pyramid, or using another electronic app. Using another electronic app was timely, and usually on the phone you were there for an hour. And this process is completely free to you. Completely free. It doesn't cost a penny. It's going to save you time, make you more money, save your clients time. They're going to appreciate you. So next slide. Your client's time is valuable. I mean, you think about it, when you go through different transactions, you want it to be easy. If someone's calling you on the phone, you're like, well, how long is this going to take? And if it's going to be fast and they say it's going to be 20 minutes, and it is 20 minutes, you're like, great, I'll deal with that person again. But they say it's going to be 20 minutes and it's an hour to 20 minutes. Guess what? Next time that individual calls, you don't want to take that call. The same thing goes for you and your client. So the One app will save you time, period. The existing process right now is the average app is over 40 pages. I just gave a demonstration of the ING app, 44 pages, filled with redundancy. For example, you had to fill out the client's name over 20 times, not to mention the address. Some of the health questions are redundant, so on. And then if you print the full application and mail it out, the time for you to get, prep it and then mail it, and then you usually got to call your client 3 different times to get it back, and even then, only half of them send it back. Or the paper out, filling it out, 4 times faster. It'll take you 20 minutes on average. There's no redundancy. So if you put John Smith, the client's name, in there, it's populated throughout. You ask a health question, it's populated throughout. You can get multiple signatures with one simple click of the button, and there's no need for the original signature on this whole process. It's accepted by the carriers. You're ready to go.
That we give you the full application in the screen. You're seeing, just like if you print it out and you're filling it out by hand, you see the full application. So it's everything that you're normally used to. There's other systems that reorganize everything and put it into different sections, and it's not what you're used to when you're looking at the application. Ours is different. You get the full PDF, you fill it out like you normally do, and it's pre-populated, et cetera, and then you go through the simple e-sign process. So let's talk about that process. So it's easy. First, you create your customer in the OES. Fill out the information just like you always do. Then you select the application in the state. Then you fill out the entire application right there. You delete any pages you don't want, you're done. Now you start the e-sign process. It's really simple. You set up who the signers are going to be, like you, the agent, your client, maybe there's an owner or something like that. And then you e-sign the app. Again, this is all inside of the OES. So you get a pop-up, the DocuSign system, you e-sign the app. All the signers get an email automatically saying, here's the application, click here to basically review and sign. They do the exact same steps you do to adopt a signature, sign the application, which is very, very simple. And then once everybody's done signing the application, automatically submit it to National Brokerage. So all you have to do is create your customer, fill out the app, and e-sign, and you're pretty much done. And you can follow up on the status at any point in time in the OES and view if which parties have actually signed or not signed yet. You can edit their email and resend it to them if you need to, or you can sign it yourself if you didn't at first. It's very simple. What we're going to do now is actually jump over to the OES and give you a demonstration on how easy this really is.
While Eric's doing that, one question we had was, it's like one of the agents I was talking to about this process was saying, well, right now I send out a real nice welcome letter, and now that won't go. And that's not the case. Once it's submitted, you can set up your own trigger, which sends out your welcome letter, or even print it. If you want to do a mail, it'll print it for you, and you can mail it out yourself. But you could create your own welcome letter and stay to the same process. It just simplifies that process, and you're going to get more apps and faster process.
Right, and the whole thing is going to take place inside the OES. You don't have to have any extra software installed. You don't have to have any logins to any other systems. It's just pretty seamless. So to start with, you have to have a customer. So you can either go customer and add a new customer. It's very easy. I'm going to, in this case, open up a customer on our system. So you go through, you fill out the information. You have to fill out everything. No, it's a good idea to track all this information anyway. contact info, get their personal health information, walk through it, and help you decide which app you need to go with. Once you've done that, you save changes at the bottom of the screen, and you're ready to move forward. When you're ready to take an application, click on Next Step, and click Get Full Application. Now on this screen, you're going to see the list of our full applications. You can select any one of these apps, and you can electronically fill it out in our system. That's fine. And I recommend everybody doing that, even if you're not doing the e-signature. Now I'm going to point out the e-sign capable call. This shows which applications are currently e-sign capable. So right now we have Genworth, ING, and West Coast Life. And we're working diligently on adding new carriers in the near future to this list. So if you choose any one of these e-sign carriers, not only can you fill it out, but then you can move on to the next step, which is the e-sign. So I'll choose the Genworth app. I'll scroll down here. The state's already populated for me. I simply need to click Edit. What this is going to do is actually open up the PDF full screen. Now it's going to be a little bit hard for you guys to see this because I have to scroll over the big screen. But you get the full entire PDF. Now here's page 1. Okay, if I want page 1, I come in here and I delete page 1. Page 1 is gone. I can see the client information is pre-populated on forms, just like the top top.
You know, one thing I know a lot of you don't want to send 44 pages to your customer, and you narrow the application down, and like we do in the concierge, down to, let's say, 15 pages or a dozen pages that are pertinent. And so with that, you can do the exact same thing which Eric was just showing you. Just click on the page. You don't want it, delete it out. So it won't change the process you do. It's just going to make it faster.
All right. So basically, you fill out the entire application. Now, again, you delete the pages that you don't want or don't need for this particular app, for this particular client, and you fill out everything, including any date fields. The whole app needs to be filled out just like you normally do. Okay. Now, once you're ready to move forward, you can save the document. We can go back to the customer screen and initiate the e-sign there. Or I can actually click Save an e-sign right here, which will save the document on the document section of the customer screen, and it'll throw me right into the e-sign. I'm actually going to show you where it goes if you save it. So let's go back to the customer screen. Now I've got some previous documents I've already saved. So I'm going to go to my Document tab at the bottom here. Scroll down, and here's some documents I've already saved. Now I can download this PDF. I can click the Edit button, and I can open that back up and continue to fill it out. Or I can e-sign. So I'm going to click the e-sign button. Now, on the e-sign page, we have a lot of help information. This is actually going to be condensed soon to a little bit more less information. We now have a whole video walkthrough of this entire process. So everything we're showing you today is all encapsulated in a 15-minute video right here. So if you have any questions at all or want to have a walkthrough of exactly how to do the e-sign end to end, you can watch this video right here. It's also up in health information. If you go to health and go to the video tutorials, it's there. Definitely want to point that out because it's your best resource for understanding how the entire process works. So anyway, this is the e-sign wizard. There's basically 2 simple steps. We recommend you read through this information. It is very important. You click on Begin. The next step is easy. You give the document the name. Let's say this is my Genworth 10-year term. Okay, it's good to label it so I can reference it in the future. I know which app this is. Also, the client will see this name so they'll understand what it is they're signing. Then if you have any notes you want to submit to National Brokerage, when the app is complete, you simply type these notes in here. The case manager will get those notes when the app is done. Now you set up the signers. Okay, you, the agent, in this case, demo agent, are going to be listed automatically, and tested client, in this case, our customer, is going to be listed automatically. If you need to have more signers, maybe you have a secondary agent, maybe there's a second proposed insured, maybe there's an owner, you add their full name and email address to this list, click Add. When you've got every signer that you need on here, you click Next. Now the next screen is the last step. That's how easy this is. Now you need to simply map the signers to the signature field. As you can see, we mapped the agent to the agent field and the client to the proposed insured field already. So if you had an owner, you would select their name from the list and attach them to the owner's signature field. In this case, I don't have an owner, I don't have an examiner, I don't have a premium payer, or maybe the premium payer in this case is proposed insured. Easy, I just select it. Now all I have to do is click e-sign now. That's it, you're done. Now, you're going to get a pop-up. We're not going to do this in the demo today, but you're going to get a pop-up to a website that's going to show you the full application. You adopt your signature, and you click on every signature field, and it scrolls you through the process. You complete it, you're done. And now all that's in the video walkthrough that I put out for you. Now, at the same time that you click the e-sign now button, every one of your customers gets an email with a big button that says review document. They click that, they open it up, they do the same thing you just did. They adopt their signature. They just have to click everywhere that the system tells them to click for every signature field. And once they've completed it, the system will automatically notify you that the application has been updated and or completed. And then again, if all signers have completed, then it gets shipped back to National Brokerage right into our underwriting department, and you'll see it show up in your real-time case status. Now, one last thing to point out is how do I view my status of my e-sign apps? Well, you go to the screen, you can go to the e-sign apps tab here to pull up the list of e-apps that you've done. In this case, we've done a bunch of test e-apps. And you can see with the name that we typed in earlier, if we had actually created it. And you can hit the details button, which will open up and show, okay, here's all the customers that we sent the app to. And this person completed, which means they signed it. This person completed, they signed it. The whole app is completed, which state it was completed on. I can download the completed application right here with all the signatures. Okay, it's that easy to refresh the status. And also, if it wasn't completed yet, and I maybe messed up an email address, I can edit the email addresses on any of these signers and resubmit it, send out the email again to get that signature. Now, I'll tell you what, when we first introduced this system a few months back, and we had an agent on there that tried it for the first time, it was a great start because he came back, he said, you know, I did my first e-app today, and I had a guy that I had originally tried to mail an application to. Something went wrong with the address, or he couldn't find the application. It was 2 weeks later. You gave me this new system, so I tried out with this guy. So I got on the phone with him. I got his email address. I emailed it to him. He signed it while we were on the phone, and I had signed it while we were on the phone, and it shipped right back to National Brokerage. I saved myself 2 weeks, not to mention I may not have ever gotten that application signed because of issues with this particular customer. So it's a great success story. Definitely saves you time, makes the process easy.
And I think, you know, that just echoes everybody. And I think once you go to that, as much effort as we spend chasing applications that, I mean, I know how it is. I mean, once you've made the sale, you want to count it and move on to the next one. But then we got to go, oh boy, I sent 10 apps out last week. I got to chase those back down because only 2 have come back. Those other 8 you got to call, chase down, they're not available. While they're there on that conversation, it's smooth and it's easy, you can do it. The alternative e-apps that we've all tried take an hour. And that same agent that Eric just talked about, you just can't keep a client on the phone for an hour. I don't know if I can keep myself on the phone for an hour to fill out an application. So it's a simple process that's going to save you time, make you more money. And once you get out of a little bit of growing pains and get comfortable with it, and we've done a phenomenal job with the help section. Walk you through. There's a video there that Eric talked about. There's a help section. There's this webcast. It's going to be posted. Anytime we're there to help you with it, you won't go back. You won't go back. It's simple, you know.